Hi, this is Matt McLean, and welcome to Music Appreciation, Music 10 at Berkeley City College. I'm going to give you an overview of the class. It's going to be administered through our Canvas system, and then there's also a required eText that you'll have to get for the class to do the readings, as well as take the quizzes, the midterm, and the final. So first of all, let's go to the Berkeley website, and then if you go up to the top, to the menu, there's a link to Canvas here. And if you follow that, it takes you to the student link. I actually have one pulled up here already. It should lead you to the dashboard, and on the dashboard all of your courses will be here. This is Music 10, so we'll click on this, and you'll see there's a welcome up at the top, including a link to this video that you're watching. There's a link to the syllabus as well, including key deadlines. So the really important one is by 11 p.m. on the first Friday night of this week, the first week of class, you're going to have to get into Canvas as well as take several quizzes. So there's an assignment, it's a discussion forum, and if you're not in there, if you don't get into Canvas and you don't get in and take the quizzes, you may be dropped as a no-show, because this is a condensed class. It's actually only in 8 weeks as opposed to the 17 in a full semester, so it's a little bit less than a half of a semester, and it's a full 3-unit class, so it moves pretty quickly. Okay, so you can see on the main page, after the welcome, I will leave the class schedule up for the remainder of the session. So you can see each class, and these are basically weeks. So each week, you'll have work due every Friday night at 11 p.m. for 8 weeks. There are links to all the readings, all the assignments, the quizzes, as well as the final exam and midterm that you can find in the textbook. And over on the left-hand side, I have it pretty stripped down. There are links to the assignments and discussions, as well as the gradebook over here. And that's it. You can message me through the messaging system in Canvas. This is my preferred method of contact. You can also email me at mmclean@peralta.edu. And I'm in here a couple times a day, so I'll definitely get back to you within 24 hours if you have any questions. So let's go in and check out the textbook. So for the textbook, you're going to go to connectforeducation.com. So I'm going to pull up a new window here, and we're going to go to Connect for Education. And there are actually 2 ways to get the textbook. So one way is to go directly through the publisher here, and I highly recommend this because you can save a substantial amount of money. It's easy. It's like buying something on Amazon. You can use a credit card as well as PayPal. And then the second way that you can get into the textbook is to buy the access code directly from the Berkeley City College bookstore. If you do it that way, it is definitely more expensive. I know that some students with EOPS cards need to go through that pathway, but if you can, do it this way. So up at the top, you're going to go to the student link, and then this is a 3-step process. So the first step is you purchase an access code, you register the access code is the second step, and then you log into the textbook. It's pretty easy. So let's go to purchase first, and then the textbook that we're going to be using, they have a lot of music textbooks in here, is Music Appreciation, On Music Appreciation, 4th edition. If you scroll down, you'll see there's some other ones here that are Blackboard versions. Do not get the Blackboard version. You want to get this first one here, the 4th edition, not for Blackboard. And then from here, you're going to go to the checkout. You can just look at a quick overview here. So you go to Student Purchase, and then View to Your Cart. And then once you're in the cart, you go to Checkout. And this is where you put in your name and your address. The key step is down here, your email address, because once you buy it, they're going to email you the access code. And this usually happens within a couple minutes. So you can check back into your email and then get your access code. So now we're ready for step 2. So we go back to student here, and you're going to register that access code. So if you bought it at the bookstore, you're going to actually have to manually type it in. The bookstore version is just like a little card, and you pull off a strip, and it has the 14-digit access code underneath that strip. So this is actually a critical step, because once you register, this is the point of no return. You won't be able to get a refund. So make sure that you're going to stick it out for the remainder of the session here. And then what you're going to do is select the school. So we're at Berkeley City College. Select the instructor and semester here, and you'll see that there are a couple of courses. Make sure that you select Music 10 and the section number matches the section number for the class that you signed up for. And then this is where you are going to copy and paste your access code in here. and then use your desired login name and password. I recommend using the one you used for Canvas. Makes it a little bit easier, but you can use whatever you want. And then after you confirm your information, you hit submit, and you'll be ready to log into the textbook. So step 3 is login. And if you go to the login link, it'll ask you for a series of prompts that look like that other registration step. So you can go here and then select my name, but there's actually a much easier way to do this, and I have provided a link within the syllabus. And if you go to c4elink.org right here, it will redirect you to this page, and then you can just type in your username and password. So once you do that, it'll take you to a dashboard here. You should only have one class. I have several here. But you go into Music 10, and you'll see that the textbook is laid out. It's pretty similar to Canvas, actually. So you'll have on the main page the class schedule. So you can see each class is basically a week, along with all the due dates. There are links to the midterm and the final exam as well. If you go to Open All, this is the view that I recommend. You can see that each page in the textbook is here, as well as the ones with the red check marks are quizzes or midterms and finals. There's one midterm and one final. There are links to the forums and written assignments here, but if you actually follow these, it'll just redirect you back to Canvas. So all of the readings and quizzes are within the textbook here, and that's including the midterm and the final. And then the discussion forums and written assignments are going to be done through Canvas. Okay, let me give you a brief overview of the way the class is laid out. So we start here talking about basic music concepts like, the role of the listener and basic structure elements. The next week we get into a little more specific musical terms like pitch and notation. It's a pretty brief overview. It's not this isn't a music theory class. We're just going to take a little whistle-stop tour. Then we get into some orchestration and instruments. And then if you scroll down, the second half of the semester is going to be a basic overview of the last 2,000 years of musical history, going back to the medieval period, all the way through classical music, the Baroque, Romantic, into contemporary period here. So we have 4 weeks to get in and do that. So I think it's a cool layout because we go over all the terms and concepts of how music is put together first, and then you get to apply those as you go back and survey history. Okay, so the textbook itself, each of these pages is laid out like this. There are some key things up at the top. For each section, there is an outline and set of objectives. This is a good way to keep things organized, like what you have to do for each section. There are some sample test questions. I highly recommend looking at these. There are 5 for each section, and your quiz questions are going to look a lot like this. Almost all of them are going to be either true or false or multiple choice. There's a glossary up here, the keywords. So this is for the entire textbook. You don't have to know all these for the first section. Don't be scared. They just keep that up there if you need to go searching for something. There are additional musical examples here that I highly recommend. In fact, they're required. There are listening guides for each chapter. This is some additional key material, and there are also links to videos, so you need to check these out. And then you can actually listen to the lecture. You can download it and listen to it on your phone if you're cooking dinner. That's pretty cool. And then there is another set here. You can actually listen and do some additional this is like a glossary for each for the whole textbook in here, so you can read bios and listen to music from different composers in this section here. But the most important part is the actual text itself. So down below you'll see that there are boldface words here. These, if you click on them, it'll take you to the glossary and give you a definition. These are critical. You'll find them on the quizzes and the midterm and the final. The other thing, you'll find these little play buttons here. So if you hit a play button, You should hear some music. If you don't hear any music, you might want to try switching browsers. I recommend Firefox or Chrome. Sometimes Internet Explorer can be problematic. And then the player is down here in the lower left-hand corner. Sometimes you need to click on this to get it going. And the first time you get in, it can take a little while to load, but this was... I just logged in here and it was pretty instantaneous. If you have any problems with it, you can contact customer support at Connect for Education. There's a phone number in the syllabus, and they're on East Coast time. They get up early, and you can call them through 3 p.m. our time, and they'll walk you through anything you need to know. You can also contact me too. And so that's a basic overview of the content itself. If we go on to the next page here, there's these little page buttons. It'll take you to a quiz at the end of that page. So there's basically, in the first week, a quiz at the end of each page. And the way I have it set up is you have 2 attempts, and I will keep the high score. So you can log into the quiz here. It's not scary, and you can see most of them are true, false, or multiple choice questions. These quiz questions will also appear on the midterm and the final exam as well. Basically, those pull from the quiz pools of question banks. Okay, the grade book is not going to be administered here in the Connect for Education textbook. It's going to be back in Canvas. So let's go back over to Canvas here. And I want to reiterate a couple of things. You need to get into the textbook and complete the first assignment, which is a discussion forum, by 11 p.m. the first Friday of class here. This way I have it in red. And you can link to all of into the textbook here in the first week. There is also a lecture. You can click on this icon to preview it within the browser here. And I basically give you an overview of the stuff that you have to do for the week, and I'll give you tips on the textbook. If there's some tricky quiz questions, you'll find hints and tricks in here as well. So I'm going to minimize that. Actually, let's get out of full screen. The minimize is right here. And then, let's see. So that's required reading. There's some PowerPoint files here. So these are taken from the in-person version of the class, even though this is all online. But it's basically, you can preview these within the browser as well, and it'll give you, it's a good way to study some keyword terms and overviews of each section. So we'll minimize this and go back to the home page. At the bottom, you'll also find links to all the quizzes that you need to submit, as well as the discussion forum this week in Canvas. So if you click on this, it'll take you to the forum itself, and it's basically just an introduction. You're going to tell us all about yourself in a short paragraph, and then link to a cool piece of music that you're listening to. So here's my link here. Go ahead and check that out, and then post yours. You're basically just going to post a YouTube link. So copy and paste the URL from YouTube, and then put a return after it. And when you put a return on, it'll turn it into an active link with a thumbnail and a preview here. So that's it for the first week. Just make sure that you respond to at least one other student for full credit in the forums. And you also have to do the first set of quizzes. So there are actually 6 in the first week. They're short, and again, you can take them twice, and I will keep the high score. So one other thing is you keep an eye out for this concert attendance report. At some point in the 8 weeks of the class, you're going to have to attend a concert with actual real musicians. If you click on this link, it'll give you what kind of show that you need to go to, as well as what to write up in your report. And you can't use a YouTube show. You actually have to go to a show, and I definitely recommend looking at maybe like the San Francisco Symphony or Oakland Symphony. I know there's one coming up this November, I think on the 18th. The Oakland Symphony is elegy for the Ghost Ship, I believe. So that might be a cool one to check out. But there are other things to go to, some right here in town. Okay, and that's 10% of your grade, so definitely don't blow it off until the last week. Okay, and then here, if you scroll down, you can see everything you need to do. There are fewer quizzes towards the end of the class. These are actually weighted a little more heavily. You can check out the grade breakdown in the syllabus. So again, there's a link to the syllabus within Canvas there, and it gives you an overview of the class. There are detailed instructions, the 3 steps that you need to get into the required textbook, and then student learning outcomes, and the grade breakdown, and also a a version of the class schedule here with all of the deadlines. So basically, you're going to be turning in work every Friday night at 11 p.m. So make sure you get in this first week. It's critical so you don't get dropped as a no-show. Enjoy the textbook. It is really the industry standard for music textbooks. A lot of schools, I think there are 100 different colleges that actually use this textbook. And it has all sorts of cool interactive functions. Make sure you do the listenings within it. And message me within Canvas here if you have any questions. Again, I'm in the system twice a day. Or you can email me at mmclean@peralta.edu. All right, look forward to having a great semester and see you soon.